Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm Marisa.
And I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. As a reminder, this podcast is rated T for teen for strong language and mature themes.
If you would like a podcast that does not contain mature language and adult themes, then head on over to her very own podcast, Unlocked, where they talk to people about things.
And stuff.
All the stuff.
We think. Because they're missing again, I guess.
Yeah.
They just
like to pop up and be like, hey guys! And then go away
again. Yeah, so.
But still, there's a backlog of interviews that they've got on YouTube, so. You know.
Yeah. And iTunes.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I don't know.
I don't
know enough about it.
I don't cover them. We're lucky I remember where we are.
That's very true. So what are we talking about today, sister?
Today, we're talking about one of those little moments where her interactive just went, bloop, here we are. Disappeared again. The Midnight in Salem updates.
Update. Yeah, so there has been a release date for Midnight in Salem and what I'll call a teaser trailer.
I will call it a teaser, or a first look.
Yeah. It has been stated as a maybe trailer. Yeah. I think is what it might be called. I wouldn't call it a trailer.
It's not a trailer.
But, and a letter to the fans as well. The May letter to the fans. So, from our good friend Penny, the CEO.
Penny the CEO.
Penny the CEO, who thanks us for our patience and our unending support. So,
you are, kind of welcome, Penny.
Good on us and our all of our unending support, which we didn't know we had or were giving, but awesome.
I feel like just continuing to talk about them and check in to see when, I think that's their idea of support. They're like, they're here still.
Yeah, they didn't just completely forget about us. Yeah, that's support enough.
As we did about them.
I mean, pretty much. So the original release date that was projected, well, not the original.
No.
The one back in 2017 was spring of 2019.
Which was already kind of an upsetting thing, but anyway.
Since the game was originally announced in 2015. But no matter. No matter. However, last month, I think it was, people started asking on the Amateur Sleuth blog, hey, is spring 2019 still the release date? And Lil Jackalope started replying on everything, yeah, it's still the release news date. It's still the release news date. Just saying this a whole bunch. It's still the release news date. As if this was what it was.
It's as if it was originally just going to be a news release. Because you know how we like to say, hey, in 3 months, we're going to release some news. You don't announce when you're going to release news that far in advance.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that was a thing. So they kept saying that it was no longer the release date, but the news about the release date was,
We'll know by spring of 2019 if you're ever going to get a game. So,
yeah, pretty much.
Keep with us till then. Afterwards,
So what they did was then suddenly drop us a teaser trailer, first look trailer, what they're calling just a trailer, which is 12 full seconds long. It is 12 seconds long. We'll talk about it in a second, but at the end of the trailer,
just every time we say trailer,
you can hear the air quotes.
Yeah, you can hear the air quotes. They're just there.
It said pre-orders start October 1st. It comes out November 19th of 2019. So the good spring. The spring month of November.
Yeah. Nice and springy.
Spring in Australia. That's just the southern hemisphere. That's all they were talking about.
They're Australian at heart.
Yeah. Don't we know? God.
Yeah.
We're just being, silly. So, we have a release date, an actual date.
Actual date.
Real concrete date.
Okay, sure.
Okay, well, a more concrete date. So, an actual day I'm that you can put on a calendar.
And we have it in writing now that they say.
We do.
It's not, we'll release you more information on November 19th.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we have all the other stuff in writing as well, and that doesn't seem to matter since they, literally, I still have the email that says spring 2019, and then it, release date, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's the news of the release date.
You ain't gaslighting us, okay?
I know. It's just literally just maybe if we say it, they will believe that was the original thing we told them.
Why not? There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, I know, right? So, that's the release date. We have a release date. So,
and if they don't release on that date, we storm the castle. All right, guys?
Yeah, storm the castle. We all get on the plane to Bellevue, Washington, and we find Penny Milliken's house. But yeah. So the trailer, it was our first look at the new engine. Actually, other than what they did with, yeah, I know. Other than what they did with they did something Labyrinth of Lies in.
Yeah, they did a retooling.
That wasn't good because they had taken something that had been made in the old engine and then shoved it into the new engine, and that wasn't great.
Yeah.
So it looked bad. But this was oh yay, we've made something this is specifically for the new, for Unity. And we got to see a character in 3D, which is the first time this has happened so far for Midnight in Salem. We got to see May Perry. Now, you might be going, Risa, don't you mean May Paris? No, I do not. Because, yet again, we are changing the facts and pretending that it never happened the other way.
We'll just slide that in there.
They went back and they have edited May and Tegan to now have their last name be Perry instead of Paris. And there is no explanation as to why.
It's weird.
However, whatever. So, we see May Perry.
What a weird fucking change. Sorry.
We see May Perry in the trailer. She steps out from the shadows and she says, "You couldn't leave it alone, could you?" And then that's it.
What a look. What a trailer.
That is our trailer. But, however, I'm very excited anyway, because this is the first evidence we have that anything has been done, one, with any voice actors.
True. Yes.
And two, with anything in just 3D at all.
Yeah, just anything that's not concept art. It's what? All right.
Speaking of concept art, though, they have now given us new concept art of May Perry. Because also, as some of us noticed immediately in the trailer, May had very dark eyes for someone with albinism.
Yeah.
And she seemed to have roots to her hair. Dark roots to her hair. And within a day, they gave us new concept art for May with a new bio for her. None of this there has been no explanation as to why this has happened. However, we now have, May Perry. May Perry has spent her young life being pulled between two extremes, the near-crushing protective gaze of her, protective attention by her parents and sister, Tegan, and the cruel gazes and whispers by the local townsfolk. May's mysterious past haunts her when she is accused and placed under questioning by the Salem police for the recent fire at the Hawthorne estate. Now it's the Hawthorne estate, not the Hathorne estate. It's changed now.
Okay.
Few of the townspeople are surprised and offer little support. Unfortunately for May, multiple scars publicly mark her mistakes of the past and results in a constant reminder that she often seeks to hide. Only those closest to May understand that her deepest pain can also be her greatest strength. Can Nancy Drew help May, or has she gone too far this time? So that's the new one. The old one is literally just meet May Paris. May Paris has spent her life pulled between two extremes due to her physical appearance, the near-crushing protective attention lavished on her by her parents, and the unjustified fear of the townsfolk. That's all it used to have.
So basically, okay, never mind. Or am I allowed to critique this part?
Yes.
Okay. They didn't want to write people who are biased based on the way someone looks. Like,
they didn't want to deal with the... I don't think they wanted to deal with the ableism that got written into it originally. And so instead, they want it to be based on something she did.
Exactly. They're like, oh no, it is justified now. So it's like...
Yeah. So we've all noticed that there's, like, in the trailer, you can see underneath her hair, because her hair's, like, across her face. And you can see, like, a little bit underneath her hair that there's, like, it looks like some scarring on her face. So, you know, it's not, you know, she's still disfigured. She's still disfigured, so there's that. So, you know.
But the scars of her past decisions.
Yeah, so it's like she did this to herself, obviously. So it's like, okay. But, yeah. That's so far the only one that they've updated. However, they did update the entire... We obviously have rewrites.
Yeah.
Because...
I mean, we already knew we were having rewrites because...
I mean, yeah, because... One, they added, like, 3 new characters and all that. But also, they've actually updated the game description. So what it used to say, I went back in the Wayback Machine to grab the original one.
Her Interactive didn't count on recent copy and pasting shit.
Yeah, they didn't. I also saved on my own PC all of the old character art, as well as the new character art, just to contrast later. Because I'm assuming they're going to do this for all the new characters.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the old characters. They're just gonna update them. So, the original, here's what it was originally. The Hathorne House was the former home of Judge John Hathorne, inquisitor of the infamous Salem witch trials, and the final home to 102-year-old Francis Tuttle, his last direct descendant. When Tuttle passed away, the manor became city property, and the mayor must find a manager to... That's terrible. Oversee the planned tourist attraction. Judge Stephen Danforth is assigned to oversee the proceedings, but on the night of October 21st, local police rescue his son Jason from the burning confines of the estate's upstairs library. Investigators discover that the library was locked from the inside, but the young child remembers nothing about entering the room. The only thing he can recall was the frightening expressions from a vile, ghostly woman who watched him with burning eyes as she spoke from the fireplace flames. The police were quick to respond to the fire because neighbors already called them about the boy dancing in the dark streets. Was the child bewitched? Acting on tips from concerned citizens, police arrest the eccentric May Paris and accused her of witchcraft. Is May Paris truly a witch, or is she the victim of townsfolk who are unsettled by her unique appearance? Old one, which already is talking about specifically being albino. Like, it's calling ghostly, white appearance with red eyes. Like, right in there. New one. Nancy Drew unexpectedly finds herself in Salem, Massachusetts, investigating an arson on the Hathorne estate. Wait, it is Hathorne, so why does it say Hawthorne? That's just bad copy editing. Okay.
Yep.
So it is still the Hathorne house. It's just in May's description, it says Hawthorne. Okay. Investigating an arson on the Hathorne estate. The Hathorne house was originally constructed by Judge John Hathorne, the inquisitor of the famous Salem witch trials, and the final home to 102-year-old Francis Tuttle, his last descendant. When Tuttle passed away, the estate became city property. And while the mayor was seeking a manager to oversee the estate, the home burst into flames. The ongoing investigation has turned up little evidence, but concerned citizens have accused May Perry of arson and are pressuring the police to arrest the secretive teenager. As Nancy races to uncover the truth behind the arson, she discovers connections to the house's past with the Salem trials, and finds herself drawn into a struggle with supernatural events that she simply can't explain. Nancy's convictions are put to the test. Are the ghosts real? Has Salem's dark history come to life? Or is there something else to blame? Time is short, and Nancy must find the answers before the clock strikes midnight.
That clock strikes midnight shit was a little far, but I was getting ready to say that I actually like the way that the second summary is written, because the first one is like, are we playing a Nancy Drew game? Wait, who are all of these people who are not Nancy? So at least it's tying in, oh, this is Nancy's investigation. Here's a slight background, and then this is why we're here, and this is what Nancy's going to be doing through the game, which is what a summary is supposed to do, as opposed to, this is all of the backstory.
The first one...
And Nancy's there.
The first one is bad because it's, like, written in 3 different tenses, and it can... And I hate that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, is... things like mixing up their tenses, especially since while I'm reading it out loud, I'm like, wait.
It's so confusing and painful.
It is. So obviously there have been rewrites.
You don't say.
So there's been no explanation for the rewrites, no even addressing the rewrites. This is like, maybe they were thinking we wouldn't notice, which is interesting. They were like, maybe they won't notice if we just say it's May Perry now. They actually went through
it's been a few years. They won't remember, right?
They won't remember she has albinism. Since they just made such a big deal out of it.
They did.
And now she just doesn't have it.
They're like, yeah, no, this I'm sure the albinism thing flew under the radar, right?
Yeah.
Nobody caught that part. Nah.
Yeah. So, complete redesign of the character.
Mm-hmm.
Complete rewrite of the story. Interesting.
I am glad that we're getting, more information. Do not mistake me. Happy for the new information. Confused. Would like some explanation at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I know that the rewrite has to partially be because the person who wrote it originally quit back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
After all of the layoffs, she quit. So, the original person who wrote it is no longer working there. So...
So they kept trying to sort of fix parts of the script to be what they wanted of the story, and then they realized that they totally messed it up and they'd have to completely start over.
I mean, I'm wondering who's technically the main writer on the game.
Yeah.
That's my question. Who is their new head writer? Because it's not the same story at all that Katie wrote.
It is not.
And my question then is also, are they doing this to get rid of some of the representation she put in? Because I know that was also kind of an issue that people were not hugely happy about the fact that she was... I know, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like, calm down.
I know. Side note, a bunch of us recently got into a huge fight on the Her Interactive...
Discord?
No, the Her Interactive Facebook page with some old people about whether or not making characters in Nancy Drew gay was worth it. And for some reason they all blocked me, but not everyone else. So, don't know what that's about. Maybe it's because I kept saying that it wasn't very cash money of them to say these things.
Cash money.
I got an old lady to say, well, that's not very cash money of you. And then she blocked me.
I did see that.
Okay, but back on track. Yeah, there's no credits now on who is writing the game.
Yeah.
And I would really like to know.
It's a room full of interns.
I mean, honestly, at this point. Also, speaking of no new credits on things, there is a new trailer for the YouTube channel, which is, like, very interesting because it's, like, a bunch of shots from Nancy Drew games. Not just newer games, also some, like, mid-games.
Yeah.
Some of, like, older mid-games, too. And they had someone else dub over Lonnie's lines.
Yeah, that's...
Like, it's not Lonnie, it's, like, scenes from the games in them, and, like, without Lonnie's voice in it. As if you guys forget, Lonnie Minella, the voice of Nancy Drew, her last game she was, voicing Nancy Drew for was Sea of Darkness. She was let go in the end of 2014 because of a lot of things, partially because she was violating her NDAs. I mean, they gave us a lot of stuff about saying, like, oh, we're just trying to go in a different direction for Nancy, but it's, like, come out on many different platforms now that she was just, like, a terror to work with. So,
you know, yeah, I've seen interviews with her. I don't doubt it.
But still love her voice. Still feel like she's Nancy.
Yeah.
So the fact that they took bits that was part of games that she was Nancy for and dubbed over her voice with someone else was an interesting choice.
Yeah, like, I understand why I get that they're trying to distance themselves from her. They're like, yeah, nope, it's a whole new face. It's fresh, but, like, she's ingrained. She's been the only Nancy Drew we've ever had.
It just becomes really weird. Yeah.
It's just rewriting of history. It's like, why are you doing this? We all know it was Lonnie before. We can just go back and play the games. Like, you haven't redubbed the game, so why redub the video? Like,
yeah. And it was really weird because it wasn't even, like, the actual lines from the games.
Mm-mm.
And that's what was really, like, off-putting about it. Because it wasn't just, like, word for word. It was just, like, they showed someone the footage and was like, just say something. Like, and then, it's actually, Lil Jackalope actually said that this isn't the new voice for Nancy, even.
So why?
So why did they do this? Why not just wait until they have a voice for Nancy and just have her do all of it and have that just be the new rebranding?
Yeah.
And just have it all be, like, scenes from Midnight in Salem. And just have it be a rebranding.
Because then they couldn't also plug that cash cow.
Codes and Clues.
Codes and Clues.
Codes and Clues is not a cash cow. It made them zero money.
What? But they plug it so hard.
It made them zero fucking money. The company they outsourced to went bankrupt. So, you know, in the middle of that fucking trailer, it just, like, cuts randomly to Codes and Clues stuff. So it's like this whole, like, da-da-da-da-da music, and it's like all this fast-paced, like, this Nancy Drew stuff, and this is a mystery game, and these are, like, no joke, and it's crazy, and it's suspenseful,
people
and then
jumping to jump scares, and then all of a sudden, hi, I'm Nancy Drew!
And it's like,
tonal shift.
Oh, it's just fucking awful. I mean, really fantastic, but at the same time, awful. But it was terrible because Codes and Clues made them, like, no money, and it was really just bad.
Yeah. It was...
it did not do well.
If there's something you want to write out of your history, guys...
That would be it.
It probably should be that, not Lonnie.
Yeah. So, very weird. And then we got that May letter from Her Interactive. From Sincerely Penny Milliken. So,
ooh.
Would you like me to read it?
Oh, yes, please. From
Dear
Penny
Nancy
herself.
Drew fans, we are excited to announce that pre-orders for Nancy Drew Midnight in Salem will begin on October 1st, 2019, exclusively on herinteractive.com. We'll come back to that.
Wow.
The title will officially release on November 19th, 2019. We believe that there should be a that in there, my friend. We believe we have one of the best Nancy Drew games on our hands. A journey that will deliver on both an emotional and mysterious level as you sleuth your way through Salem, Massachusetts. As CEO, I want to personally thank you for your continued loyalty, passion, and support. We have been moving as quickly as we possibly can on this game.
All right.
I'm so proud of the collaborative effort by everyone working on Midnight in Salem, and I can't wait to deliver the final product this fall. We sincerely thank you for your patience, and hope that when you play the game, you will agree the wait will have been worth it. Please join us as we kick off May by introducing May Day, M-E-I, May Day, with a sneak peek of one of Midnight in Salem's amazing cast of characters, May Perry. We look forward to sharing more with you, including behind-the-scenes experiences leading up to the release of the 33rd game in the Nancy Drew series. Sincerely, Penny Milliken, CEO. P.S. We always love hearing from our fans, so please don't hesitate to share your thoughts or questions with us at feedback@herinteractive.com. That was brave.
That was real brave.
P.S. That was a real brave P.S. in my opinion. Whew. So, first of all, only available on herinteractive.com, so it's not going to be available, like, in stores? Is it not going to be available in Target or anything
Amazon,
like that? And it's not going to be available on Steam immediately, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is... I mean, that's so irritating, because their fucking digital policy is so awful.
It is. It's horrible.
Like, I can buy something from them and then it expires. The download expires.
That's, you know what? Okay, we're writing them. They like hearing fan feedback.
I'll give that feedback.
I'll feed that back.
I'll feed that back. Yep. I'll feed that back to her. There's my first little pin.
Yeah. There's no reason for them to expire like that.
Absolutely not. It's ridiculous.
That's highway robbery.
It really is. And then they're like, well, or you can buy a 5-year extended download.
Fuck off.
It's like, I should not have to pay. I should not have to pay to extend my download service.
No.
If I pay something and you guys have a record that I bought this from you digitally, I should be able to download it however many fucking times I want. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I fucking paid for it.
Yeah.
Instead, I have to, like, save it and save the actual file on, like, computer to computer to do this shit. Bullshit.
That don't fly.
And it's so much more expensive on your guys. Like, they never discount their games either.
Nope.
Like, properly. Like, after a game has been out for a certain amount of time, it should go down in price.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
That's how the rest of the gaming world works.
But, like, a game that's 5 years old should not cost the same amount it did when it first came out.
No.
I should not still be paying $20 for the game I paid $20 for when it came out. That's not how it works.
No.
That's not how any of this works. It's not how the rest of... That's an interesting point. How much do we think Midnight in Salem is going to cost? It's not going to cost $20. Do you think like 30? I'm thinking like it's probably going to be priced more like Life is Strange.
Yeah.
I mean, 20 was never...
$50 for the next Nancy Drew game. And that's when I stopped playing.
It depends. Is it going to still have 20 plus hours of gameplay that's actually just 6 hours of gameplay?
Right.
Like,
unless you're streaming,
honestly.
and then it's forever, because you keep being stupid.
I'm sorry, sister. I'm sorry streaming syndrome happens to you.
It hits so hard.
I'm sorry. But there's my first little point in there of that. And then we've been moving as quickly as we possibly can on this defensive game. It's like, bitch, it has been since 2015.
Yeah.
Working as fast as you possibly can.
You're working as fast
as you possibly can. You only started working on it since the beginning of this year. So yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that we all fucking know you only started working on the game in January.
We're not stupid.
We're not fucking idiots. We know how this goes, and that's why you're not putting it out until fucking November.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm surprised they weren't like, let's do this as an episode format.
Right?
Like, I was half expecting that to fucking happen. Play the first episode of Midnight in Salem.
Don't say things like that. They might get an idea.
I was joking, Her Interactive. If you did that, I would fucking walk away.
We're storming the castle.
And then the other thing, we sincerely thank you for your patience and hope that when you play the game, you'll agree that the wait will have been worth it. At this point, we're all here because of the sunk cost fallacy. Like, we're all here because either it's going to be bad, and we're gonna enjoy it for being bad, or we're gonna be pleasantly surprised. Like, that's where our expectations are.
Yeah.
Guys. So... yeah, that's the new news. The new news for Midnight in Salem. The new news for Midnight in Salem. Yeah. You have anything to add, sister?
I am just very cynical of this whole situation, so I feel like my opinion shouldn't be.
I'm just like...
I feel like they just need to start being honest with us, you know? Not saying we work as quickly as we possibly can, and
if they were just, like, actually transparent with us about what's going on.
That's it. That's all.
We would all be like, okay, cool, thanks.
Mm-hmm. That's all I asked for. They could have given me that little sneak peek and not called it a brand new trailer and not, and just kind of... That's all I'm asking for here, guys.
And then just said, this is what's going on, and this is why it's going on. And then we'd all be like, okay, cool, you do you, bro. And then we'd all be in a much better place instead of this, I don't know what you're talking about. We've been working on this as fast as we possibly can since May 2015.
Really, we promise. That's why we gave you nothing for years.
Yeah,
I'm sick of this toxic relationship. I'm gonna be honest here.
Yeah, so, that's what we have for you guys for this one. Let us know your thoughts. But if your thoughts are, shut up, at least they gave us information, then don't tell us your thoughts because we don't fucking care. But
we know that they gave us information, okay?
we should not, we're not going to beg for scraps.
Mm-mm.
So, yeah, let us know on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and our fancy website, krolmeistersisters.knifefightclub.com.
You can also find us on iTunes, Google Podcast, and Spotify. And you can leave us nice little happy comments. Not just, not just responding to our topic. Maybe, just tell us, I don't know, you think that we're swell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to just be told I'm swell.
And Ariana is swell.
Hey!
You guys can also subscribe to our Twitch to get access to our cute little wine glass emote. Or you could support us on Patreon And get access to podcast night and VODs, and cat pictures that not even our mom gets to see.
Yeah, we're making sure to keep them from her.
I put up one a couple weeks ago that was the cat who, when she was afraid of thunder.
Oh.
Yeah, and so she was all cuddled up next to me. So if you want to see that, you have to be on our Patreon. So, as a reminder, I'm Marisa.
And I'm Ariana.
And we're the Krolmeister sisters. And we're asking you guys to stay sleuthy.